What's up, guys? You're watching The Guy from the Podcast, and I'm here with the special guest, Lindsay Schoolcraft. She's a Juno-nominated ethereal gothic metal solo artist, and you're from a small city in Oshawa, Ontario, right?
That is correct.
Perfect. How's it going?
Yeah, it's really good. It's Friday, so can't complain.
Oh,
How about
yes.
you?
Not too bad. I'm thankfully off on this Friday,
Brilliant.
so for once, I get a Friday off. I
Oh,
feel
that's
like that's
awesome.
very odd.
Good stuff though.
Absolutely. It's even more amazing that I'm getting to do this with you. So I
Mm.
appreciate that.
Yeah, no, happy to be here.
Thank you. And so let's start off with some of your influence on music. You've been in bands from Cradle of Filth and Antiqua alongside some of your solo projects and features. When did you realize that this is what you wanted to do as a career?
I think I knew, I just kind of knew when I was 15. It was just like, I think it was like disappointment after disappointment in high school, as many teens go through. I wanted to be a zoologist. And the
Hmm.
guidance counselor I was paired with told me I wasn't smart enough, and I was like, wow, thanks. And then for a year there I was really like into visual arts, painting, sculpting, and I really am a big geek. I love anime, specifically Pokemon, and I was just kind of in the
Okay,
back of the art
cool.
room, like, yeah, like sketching. And then I think my art teacher came over and said, like, there's no money in anime. And it ticked me off
Wow.
because, like, I know so many people who are animators or voice actors. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much money in anime now, even just making your own, like, I guess.
Especially now in like the last 10 years compared
Oh,
to, I guess.
yeah. Yeah, so it kind of crushed me. And then it was kind of a I got in with like a few friends in school who were like really on top of what new music was coming in. And at the time I was like really into, I guess you could say, like, not necessarily poetry, but just kind of writing my own stuff. So then I was introduced to like the world of punk, but also like pop punk. So there's two extreme ends of punk. There's like Green Day, Blink 182, but then there's like this weird stuff in the middle, like Jack Off Jill. And then there's like the extreme stuff. There's like Rancid and Unseen and Casualties. So I was kind of like shown that world. And then at the same time, there was like this boom of, like, you have to understand, I was in high school from 2000 to 2004. So there was this huge new metal boom, and there was a lot of metal coming over from Europe. And I was just kind of all of a sudden introduced to all of that. And I was like, whoa, like, it was a few key moments, but all of a sudden I just knew I wanted to form a band and play bass guitar. And it just never stopped. It just snowballed into everything we see today.
Well, that's amazing. Do you still do like art and stuff like you said you were into? Or is that something you just more do as like a hobby?
I haven't really sketched or drawn anything in a very long time. Um, I do enjoy like color theory when it comes to marketing and branding. But no, I'm more of like, I appreciate art. Like, my home is just covered in art, from fans, but also other artists I find online that I hugely resonate with. So I more just kind of sit back and appreciate it and enjoy it for what it is, and support artists where I can, because you couldn't ask me. I can't sketch anything. Save my life. Now the only realm where it still kind of exists is in doing makeup, and I think that's it.
I mean, that's a form of art, so I'll take
Yeah,
that.
yeah, painting the face.
And I think that's really cool that you have everything hung up on your walls and stuff. I wanted to do that because I do
Mm.
photography and I just wanted to I have so many cool, talented friends and I
Yeah,
want to get like all of their art and photography hung up on my wall. So that's something I definitely want to do in the future as
yeah.
well.
It's easy to do these days. So yeah, whenever you find the time, it's worth it. It really makes
Yeah,
your home a happy place.
it's just some people don't have like print shops open or things. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, you got to make one. Like, I want to buy this.
Yeah, let me give you money. Let me support you.
Yes, it's one of those things. Um, and you play a few instruments. You talked about bass earlier. You also play harp and keyboard, right?
Yeah, mainly those are like obviously I'm a singer first and foremost, but yeah, I piano was kind of a thing that I learned to become a better singer and writer because it's I feel like the piano is the compass of music. It shows you kind of where everything is. Um, and it's just so much for me and my brain, it's just so much easier to form chords. Like I don't know how guitarists do it. They have a special brain that can see things the way they do. But yeah, the harp was something that I mean, I'm half Irish. I think it's just in your blood. Like it's just a calling that you can't get rid of. And I'm very stereotypical. Like I love potatoes and yeah, very. I'm half
Me
Irish,
too.
so I guess yeah, it's like I live off
Me too.
potatoes. Yeah, you get it. So, the harp was like it was never like oh I would love to own a grand concert harp. It would be nice to be chromatic versus set with the lever harp, but it was in my early 20s I discovered Bjork's album Vespertine, and I was like, whoa, I didn't know the harp was capable of this. Granted, it's a grand harp that she has in her albums. But at the time when I was in uni, there was like folk music courses, and I'd go hang out on my break and see what the folk musicians were doing. And there wasn't any harps at the university at the time. There was no harpists, and um, I was like, this is what I want to do. So I got an extra loan and a grant from my university. I mean, granted, I was only there for 3 months, but it was very quick. And I went ahead. It was like my quarter life crisis, I call it. And I just bought a folk harp, and I still have her to this day. I've done all my big gigs with her. Um, but yeah, it's just such a strange instrument, but I love it. It's like I don't know. It speaks to my soul. There's certain instruments that are just like this is an extension of my
It's
soul.
it's
So
very unique. I feel
yeah, I
like
love it.
there's very little people that do play it.
Yeah.
So I think
Well,
that's amazing.
there is now. I mean, if you go on Instagram, I'm in with the harp circle on Instagram, and there's like, oh man, there's so many of us now. But I love that everyone's kind of found their own niche. Like, oh, I'm a jazz harpist, or I'm a blues harpist, or I'm a God
Hmm.
knows what. There's this one chick I follow, and she does like she hangs from like ropes and stuff and plays the harp. I think she's more like a circus act. And I'm
Wow.
like, there is a place for everyone here. So it's like it's nice. It's kind of nice to know that like I'm not alone, but yeah, within the world of metal, it's kind of cool to be like, yeah, if you need harp, just call Lindsay. So I appreciate
Yeah, I feel like that's
that.
unique and that's amazing.
Oh,
Is that
thanks.
like, is a harp one of your favorite things to play, or do you have a favorite instrument outside of that?
Um, I think it's just the harp. I do one instrument. I mean, I love cello. Don't get me wrong, but one instrument that I could just listen to for hours is the Armenian duduk. It's like a flute. It was very popularized
Hmm.
by the Gladiator soundtrack. I think I could be wrong. It's on the new Dune soundtrack, but actually, you know what? No, it is most well known in Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's all riddled throughout that cartoon. It's just this. I don't know. There's something about the sound of that instrument is just so alluring and special, and there's a special place in my heart for that instrument.
I love that you mentioned Avatar too, because I was just gonna ask about some of your other favorite animes. I mean, you said Pokemon,
Yeah.
so
Well, I like
Avatar is, I'm gathering, one of them.
I like Pokemon because it's kind of like you can just customize your own little team and be your own little character within the world. And I really like the movies. I'm not a fan of the cartoon series because it's very geared towards children, and it's like, oh my god, if Team Rocket blasts off one more time, I'm gonna burn my house down. Like how repetitive it is. I'm like, I can't do this. Um,
Yeah, I
but
feel like I used to
they,
watch it as a child, but now I don't know if I could
oh,
watch the whole series.
no, I don't have the patience for it. But they put out some like shorts. I think they're gonna try to turn the Pokemon world into like the Ghibli realm. You know what I mean? Where like there's gonna be different characters and different stories. And if you understand the world, I think it's very beautiful. So they've put out a bunch of shorts on their official website that you can watch, and they're really good. They even actually did a throwback. They did a cartoon that was like the first few games. Oh man, it was just so good. It hit the nostalgic spot. But yeah, no, I'm a big Pokemon fan. That's no secret. But I really I love Avatar. I'm about to rewatch The Legend of Korra. I'm super stoked. And I really like Ergo Proxy. Um,
Okay.
it's a weird one. It's like a futuristic cyberpunk dystopian. I don't even know how to put it. I love it. And then what
That's
else?
interesting.
Yeah,
I
it's a
feel like
good watch.
I was big on Fairy Tale. I don't know if you've heard of that, but if not,
No.
it's a pretty amazing anime.
Fairy Tale. You'll have to send me a link after. I would really appreciate
I
that.
will.
Sounds good. One that I
I
watched
think
that
they have
just
like three seasons now, and they're super long.
really,
Like, but
I'm down.
it's amazing.
I'm down.
I'll
I need
send
a
you it.
new, yeah, I need a new binge. I'm into like weird, obscure, offbeat ones. Like Made in Abyss was really, I've never had an anime hit me in the feels as hard as Made in Abyss. And I don't know if it's come out in English yet. I watched it in Japanese. And then Land of the Lustrous was a weird one that really stuck with me. That's like a straight, I don't know. I like weird fantasy stuff, like stuff that's just like, this is nothing like our world, but I get it, you know. So I think
It
I'm
is
just so bitter
interesting.
and jaded, you know. I need something that really sparks my brain. So, but yeah, no, I appreciate what are some of your favorite animes?
Well, Fairy Tale is one of them.
Yeah,
I never really got far in Attack on Titan, but I
true.
would, if you consider Avatar, I do want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, my cousin's been trying to get me into some things like I don't know, like there's something that's like, is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon or something like that? And
Oh yeah, I still
I
haven't
haven't
gotten
really
into
watched
it.
it so much,
You
but
know, a really good one. It's by the same studio as Avatar. If you can get through the first season, you're good. Is The Dragon Prince? That is like so well written. I haven't gotten that invested into anything emotionally and mentally since Avatar. So I feel like you would really love it if you really love Avatar.
what'd you say it was?
The Dragon Prince. It's
Dragon
really
Prince.
really
I'm gonna
well
check that
done.
out.
Yeah, I'm a little too
So
obsessed. Well,
now we have,
there's elves, so when there's elves, I'm there. Show up.
now we both have an anime to watch, catch up on
Yeah, for
after this.
sure. Exactly.
Um,
Perfect.
what's some of your aspirations, both inside and out of music?
Wow, that Christian, that is a big question.
I'm sorry
Oh,
to hit you with that.
geez. Like inside and outside of music?
Well,
Okay.
either or, like beyond music, or whether you want to do
Um,
like aspirations for music too.
well, in music, I'll just start with music. It's always easier. Um, I just want to be doing this for the rest of my life sustainably, and I want to just absorb it all and do everything I can. As you know, I love collaborating, and I'm grateful for anyone who's wanted to work with me or I've had the chance to work with. Um, but I think like ultimately there's a few more albums in me that are just bubbling to the surface right now. I'd want to get it so badly. I really want to work with like a full string section live. I want to do a DVD. I still want to travel the world again and bring my music to people. You know, that's and I just want to make great like experiences and memories with the fans and with my band and my team and my people and my crew. Like that is ultimately it. Outside of music, my biggest aspiration is just I just want to, how do I put this? I want to be happy. I want to be a good person, and I just want to do everything I can to leave the world or my little world in a better place than I found it. I think ultimately, I really, anytime I can help an artist or a musician get clear on their vision or make a plan, I mean, ultimately, like mentoring in coaching is something that is deeply like I'm deeply passionate about helping other people. I mean, that's ultimately it. Like I just at the end of the day, I'd be like, did I live in the moment? Did I do my best? Was I good to myself? Was I good to everyone? Am I happy? You know, I think that's like that's just my aspiration. I know it's really weird. It's like, you know, I
No,
mean, yeah, sure. Like
that's
I
totally that's
okay.
amazing actually.
Okay, cheers. Yeah, because I mean, like, I would love to own like a gothic looking castle house thing. Like, of course, like who, you know, maybe with like
Yeah.
a couple chickens out back and a horse and an emu and like, you know, I would love that, and I would love to absolutely like own a grand harp, like that you can own. Like, it's so easy to attain physical objects in this world, but I think to create experiences and moments and to uplift people and to help them, that's priceless. I think that's more what life is about than anything. I would rather strive towards those things than like, you know, oh, look at me all alone in my giant house, like, and I have all this money, but no one likes me because I'm a dick. Like, I just
Yes.
I never
And
want to be that person. I'd rather be happy living in a box, helping artists build their careers, than that.
and I feel like what you said too is interesting. One of my friends made me do like the Harry Potter house quiz yesterday,
Oh, cool.
and one of the questions on there, I was a I was a Ravenclaw, but one of the questions
Nice.
on there was like, um, when you go, like, what do you want people to kind of remember you as? And I chose like when they think of you that they'll smile, like
Yeah.
compared to the other questions that were like compared to the other ones that were like a little more kind of egotistical and whatever.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's interesting that you say that because I think it's amazing that you want to help people. And
Mm.
you're all right how you said like it's very easy to just choose materialistic things and stuff like that. So
Mhm. Yeah.
that's interesting
Yeah, you can always
and not
attain,
weird.
and yeah, like I just look at physical items and like you can always lose them and attain them and break them, but when you can create an experience and a connection, there's in nurturing it and making sure that it doesn't get destroyed or hurt or that's just so priceless. Like that's just I think that's the meaning of life. I really don't think that chasing fame and money and items is what it's all about. If that was the
Absolutely.
case, it'd be a very lonely, hard, cold, cutthroat world of backstabbers and users. And it's like life is too short for that.
Which sometimes I do feel like that is what it is, but then you look on the other side of things and there's just such amazing people that
Yeah.
do want to help and whatever. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I
and
agree.
that I just wanted to take a second and mention to anyone listening too that you do have a Patreon
Mhm.
and you do offer some like unreleased tracks and lyric writing workshops and
Mhm.
a bunch of other things on there. So if anyone that is listening is interested in doing that, definitely go join in on it.
Oh, cheers. Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
cool. We have like some future album songs on there already. I'm doing albums on the platform as well as singles. So some of the music is weird. It borderlines like dark electronic trip hop, and then there's like obviously still the symphonic metal tracks and the gothic metal tracks that never changes. But yeah, we do a lot of fun stuff. We do like monthly, I guess you'd say, like meet and greets, but it's more like a chill Zoom hang. It's super fun, and people get to vote on what song I write next, and they get to join me on writing the lyrics. That only happens about every 3 months now, but if more people hop on, we can do it every 2 months. um it's yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, thanks for mentioning it. Like, it's a
yeah,
great
of course.
community. We do a lot of fun stuff. Like, there's a Discord, we do monthly playlists. There's a lot of artists and musicians on there too, people who like write music for themselves, not necessarily um trying to make a career path. And I have a lot of visual artists on there too, so it's great. I love it. I'm very, very grateful for that little community. And back to what you were saying about finding the good in people. I mean, those people really keep me grounded and remind me of like why I'm doing this every day. And I'm so grateful for that.
I think that's awesome that you kind of built that little community as well, especially
Mm.
the visual artist. Um, that's cool that you tied that into there somehow.
Yeah, they're great. And I love that everyone feels so confident like on our Discord, like people post their art and their music all the time. And I'm just so happy that they feel that they have like a safe place where they can just, put their stuff, and it's not like the outer workings of the internet where the trolls linger, and they everyone
Oh yeah,
appreciates. Yeah, everyone just like
all the
appreciates what
haters
they're
come
doing.
around.
Yeah, haters gonna hate. So, yeah, it's really rad.
And you recently were just featured on a new motionless and white track called Cyberx. What was your initial
Mhm.
reaction when you were asked to partake in it?
Oh my God. I just I think it was pure shock. Because I'm really into goal setting and the law of attraction and manifesting. And I actually am looking at the vision board right now. I made a vision board back in, it was either 17 or 18. I don't remember. But I wrote on the back of it some key people I've always wanted to work with. So it was like Jonathan Davis of Korn, The Weeknd, Abel Tesfaye at like I Go Big or I Go Home. And then at the bottom was Chris Motionless. And I asked the universe for this and it just swung back around. But the thing was, is like I never thought Chris would like ask me. Like we became friends. With working with Cradle of Filth, Danny was on a track on Reincarnate, their album, which is my
Yeah.
favorite album. But I feel like this new album is going to be my favorite album for bias reasons, and for I've heard it and I'm just like, whoa, like I'm excited for this new era of Motionless. And um, what was I going to say? Yeah, so we connected and we hung out and we stayed in touch, and then he just out of the blue got back in touch with me. And I haven't been with Cradle for 2 years now. But I was like, man, if Chris is getting back in touch with me to get a hold of Danny, I'm gonna be so mad because like that's kind of a common thing. Like Danny Filth is very like unreachable, and people are like they knew I was like the lifeline, and I was like, no, I don't work for him no more. Like you got to figure this out on your own. So no, but then Chris was like, he was super sweet and he was just like, hey, like would you come sing on the new album? Like, are you freaking kidding me? And I said, yes, I'll do it, absolutely. Like I pushed off paid work, I made time for him because I think I only had like 2 to 3 weeks to get it done, and he wanted like my old opera voice, and I'm like, man, I haven't gotten on the opera horse in like 2 years, and it's a very big exhausting technique to do opera, to make it sound
I can
like,
imagine.
yeah, it's like I'm just kind of doing more of an ethereal folk, like kind of belting thing. I don't know how to describe it. Like me, I'm just being me. Um, a lot of people said, "No, you sound more like Dolores from the Cranberries now," and I'm like, I'm totally okay with that because I love Cranberries. So, getting back to that was like, oh shoot. I had rehearsal time. I did some demoing. They were super cool with it, and then I think I got it done in like 3 hours. I went and got my guy Tyler at Monolithic Productions to engineer it at his studio. And it was unreal. And they were such a gem to work with because like they're such a professional band. Like they have everything organized. They dot their I's, cross their T's. Like their management, their label, everyone was so lovely. It was just so nice, and they were so happy to have me there. And I'm like, wow, I feel valued. Like this is so nice. Like thank you. But I admire Chris because he's like very visionary in the sense that like he knows exactly what he wants and where it's going to be placed, and I have so much respect for that because sometimes with working with people they're like, I don't know, just step in here and figure it out. But like he had direct like guidelines for me coming in and doing these things. So I really loved it, and I like that Justin from Ice Nine Kills is in there now, which is so exciting. I think he's a great addition.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like it happened so fast, and now I'm just looking back and I'm like, I enjoyed it, it was exciting, but then I was thinking, oh man, okay, I'm not gonna like hear anything for like 10 months because right now it takes like to do an album launch takes so long because it takes so long to like press vinyl and stuff. um but no, he just hit me up like a few Sundays ago and he's just like, oh, song's out this Friday, and I'm like, Chris, what? You should have given me more time. But like, no, we got through it. It was so nice, and it was just so like someone in Chris's position. Again, I respect him. I respect the band. I respect them as business people and as artists and musicians. Um, there's just the amount of appreciation he gave me. It was very kind. It was like, wow, like you really valued me, and that's something that working with certain groups in this industry, there's a lot of people who don't understand like how to treat others and how to treat them well. And it's kind of like after a while when you've been in those scenarios for so long where it's like, okay, like job's done, here's your money, bye. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
it's not that I'm looking for praise or approval or like, good job or anything, but like I've been in scenarios where it's just like, you just kind of feel like, oh, like that was it. Like, he was
Like, okay,
very,
on to the next thing, kind of a
yeah, and then you
deal.
never hear from them again. Like I'm still chat with him almost weekly, and it's just like, it was really just I wish more bands and I wish more people in the industry were like Chris and Motionless. I really, if every band was like them, this industry would be, and their management and their label, this industry would be such a better place. I'm just gonna say that right now.
But I do feel like at the same time, everyone is kind of getting weeded out that are dicks or whatever. Like,
Oh, yes, they are.
no shade on anyone, but
Well,
I
they
just feel
made their
like,
own shade. They need to go die in it.
yeah,
Like that's like
I
I'm
just feel like
sorry.
lately the industry has been like, full of a bunch of genuine, nice people
Yeah,
that
yeah.
are willing to help each other out and grow and
Hmm.
bring like metal back to like a great place. So, not that it
Yeah.
ever left it,
No,
but
but there's
I think
like
that's amazing.
yeah, I feel like a lot of the people who have been awful to others are kind of crashing and burning now. And, we all talk, everyone talks now. So it's like, no, don't work with that person. They treat these people bad. They don't pay, et cetera, et cetera. Where it's like, a good word of mouth is what really is going to launch you at any position in this industry, wherever you need or want to go. So I think it's important to be kind to people and patient and communicate, and just treat people with the same respect that you want, because that's how things get done. That's how magical music happens. Let's be real.
Sure. And even beyond that, like as a photographer, I know that there has been a person lately that has been coming up with like a bunch of lies saying like
Oh
that some
no.
band broke their camera or something
Oh
and they did
no.
not. And she made like a GoFundMe asking for an insane amount of money too, compared to the
Uh,
camera that that person had.
that's no good.
So that's an easy way I feel like to get blacklisted. Just
Well, yeah,
don't be a dick, I feel like.
it's sketchy, but it's also like, I don't believe in playing into victimhood. I'm not a victim, I'm a champion. And when people play me their
Mm.
tiny little violin and things don't add up, I'm like, you don't look very trustworthy on the outside. You got to really be
Yeah.
a critical thinker when
And
people
like you
do
said,
these
word of
things.
mouth. I keep
Yeah.
seeing those posts going, being shared around now, and I'm just like, well, that person's never getting a gig again.
They should have been honest.
So
Yeah, always choose honesty, even if
it's
the
unfortunate.
truth sucks. Yeah, yeah,
And I saw like last week you went to the Under Oath show, right?
yeah, yeah. That was great.
And I saw a photo that you were with Chris in front of a Starbucks.
A
And so I
closed
just wanted to
Starbucks.
sidetrack away from, yeah, I just wanted to sidetrack away from music and talk about like
Mhm.
your go-to Starbucks order or whatever. Like, is it
Oh,
a refresher,
well,
coffee, tea?
always like a hot latte with, like, I'm vegan, so some kind of plant-based milk, so to say. Um, but yeah, we wanted to go to
Oat
Starbucks. He
milk
just
for the win.
yeah, absolutely. I'm on oat milk these days. Yeah, absolutely. So, um, yeah, he wanted to go to Starbucks and it was closed, so we found actually a nicer place around the corner. But yeah, I mean, I'm a coffee fiend. I've been trying to wean myself off of it, but it's just like
Me too.
it's not going well.
I say that while drinking a Red Bull right now.
Oh my
That
gosh.
is the worst thing.
Yeah, like
And it's
Red
even
Bull
worse,
doesn't give
like,
you wings, it gives you a heart attack. Good luck with that.
yeah. And I feel like for me, I didn't have anything like energy drinks or coffee in the last 2 days. And yesterday I had a massive migraine. So
Oh
I think
no.
it's definitely something I need to
Yes,
kind
please
of just
avoid those
kick out.
sugary
Just
drinks. Oh my
even
goodness.
coffee.
Yeah.
Like I find that if I don't have coffee, I'm gonna have that migraine for the next
Yeah.
day or two.
Oh shoot. Well, if
So
you can
that
get
that
yourself some
sucks.
like cleaner coffee, like some kind of coffee that there's no mold in it, or the bean is good, or you know what I mean, like if you have good coffee, it's not the end of the world. Like your body doesn't suffer too much. But that chemical shit with the Red Bull, like, yeah, watch out for
Yeah.
those. Yikes.
I don't know why I even like them, but
Yeah, it tastes like a good candy.
I don't know. Now that I have the taste in my mouth, I don't I can't put any candy on that.
Okay, fair.
But it's just addicting, I guess.
Hmm.
And I also saw you back in early 2019. You were on tour with Cradle of Filth,
Hmm.
and you sounded incredible.
Thank you.
You, of course. Was there any favorite tour memories or any memorable moments while being out
It was a
that you could
grind.
think of?
Like 2018 and 19, my last 2 years with the band was just a big grind. Like two world tours in 2 years was a lot. Um, but I think my fondest memories, a lot of cool things in Russia. My favorite place on earth, Japan. That was
Oh
beautiful.
wow.
I got to see a lot. I had a lot of time off in Japan, and I'm forever grateful for that, to be able to experience it. I have a lot of really like lifelong friends there now. What a beautiful country. I wish I could just go there for a month and kind of backpack around and just see all the little magical wonders that are hidden away. Um, maybe one day, but yeah, I mean, it's always not going to Australia is always awesome. I have like a whole family of musicians over there. I love the vibe. I love Australia. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was always a pleasure to be on stage, and I have so many memories with the fans and connecting with them. And yeah, it was really it was a lot, but it was a lot of living on planes and sore legs because I wasn't really like getting around and exercising as much as I'd like to. There's like there's a good and the bad. You take the good with the bad, but and then I decided to part ways with them because I needed to take care of my mental health, and then the pandemic hit, so I've had like these really nice 2 years off. But whenever I head back on the road, I look forward to it again. But I'm enjoying more being on Patreon and producing my own music right now. I won't lie. But yeah, like I can't think of any memories like specifically
Mhm.
that were like crazy. I'm trying to think of any moments that were just like, wow. I don't know. It all just kind of blends together at this point. I really wish I
That's
had a moment in
understandable.
time for you, but I don't.
I feel like when you've been doing it for a while, everything just becomes not a blur, but it just all has its own experiences, I'm sure. So
I think just
I
like
think it's
meeting,
fair that you
like,
can't put it on one
yeah,
thing.
like the one moment that stands out, I will mention is just like, playing a show and then realizing Danzig came out to see you and then meeting
Oh,
him
wow, that's
and then
sick.
him saying like you have an incredible voice and shaking my hand like cuz I used to cover Misfits in my first punk band. So like
Mhm.
that was intense for me. Like, and the bassist of Cradle, he actually, I don't know if he's in it anymore. He's in a Misfits cover band, so I know that was a big moment for him too. Because Misfits are just so iconic, and so is Danzig. So that was a whoa moment. That was like, are you for real right now? Um, and then also that's how I met Chris from Under Oath. He was on a day off and saw Cradle was playing and came out, and that's how we became friends. So I mean, I'm very again, it's those experiences, you know what I mean? It's not about the
Yeah,
fame or the money. It's about like connecting with people and those beautiful experiences that come around. It's really cool.
no, I think that's perfect. And actually, you went up to one of my following questions
Mhm.
where, because there was a previous podcast I was listening to, and you said you were supposed to be out originally for like 6 months or something like that, right?
For what? For
Just with like Cradle in general, you were only supposed to be there temporarily, right?
oh, back in the day, yeah, yeah. I was just like a temp hire. Yeah.
And then with that changing rapidly, I know that you said that it was like a bit overwhelming and it took a toll on your mental health. Would
Oh
there be
yeah, near
anything that
the
like,
end. Yeah, like by the end of
I'm sure
2019, I needed to
that,
just
that is a lot.
yeah. Yeah. But sorry, what was your question? Go ahead.
It, I'm sure it's not that simple of just like going out on tour, but is there anything that like you would have told yourself or a piece of advice that you wish you knew before going on that route?
Yeah, I think like I wouldn't change anything. I'm very happy with how everything has happened and where I am in life. I'm very grateful and I know I'm exactly where I need to be and I would never change anything. But I think something that like and so so I wouldn't have gotten so sick. I think I would have told myself to not take things so seriously. Like don't stress yourself out, don't sweat the small stuff. Like I took everything so seriously. And I had this conversation with someone recently. Really, especially as a woman, we really feel like we have to prove ourselves. And I really felt like I had to show up with my A game all the time and I had to really prove myself. And it came from being young and insecure. And over time, I've learned that confidence is silent. And, I think I should have just been more like, knowing like I've got this and I don't need to take it so seriously. And I just need to kind of step back a little bit more and enjoy the experience. That would be the only thing I would tell myself at that
Okay,
point.
that,
And
that's
I kind
totally
of wish
fair.
yeah, I kind of wish I was more prepared for like and I say this like, I don't know how else to say it, but like along my journey, there's been a lot of obviously narcissistic people. I just wish I had
Hmm.
more of the tools to deal with them and their games. But now, like, I can smell one a mile away and I know exactly what they're going to, they're very predictable. So now I can protect myself. But back then, unfortunately, I got like, depending on where I was or who I was working with or what projects I was involved in, I was like, we're talking about the beginning of my career, essentially, like when I kind of stepped into a place where I was more well known. I really got used and played and lied to and manipulated. But now it's like, that's the only thing I would tell myself then. I'd be like, I just learned these things, but you don't know. You have to like go through the experience to realize, oh, this is what I need to know. You know what I mean? Like you can
And I
tell
feel like
people
it only makes you grow, like, which is a good
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, like you can tell yourself something, but until you like truly know it and you've embedded it into you as like a knowing, and you've got this new habit, new way of thinking down within you, it's like it's like falls upon deaf ears. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah. So I hope that makes sense.
So
I hope that was the answer that
no,
you
it
wanted.
does. That does make perfect sense, and
Okay, cool
I'm
beans.
glad you said the female part too, like being a
Hmm.
female, because
Oh
I feel
yeah.
like that's one thing that lately, especially in this genre, has been kicking ass is the females of like this genre.
Yeah.
Like you have Courtney LaPlante, you have
Cheers.
like so many
I'm
people.
so
So
honored you put me next to
I
Courtney because I
think
think the world of her. She's an incredible singer. I just like I saw her live on Monday and I was just like, holy crap.
yeah,
Um,
I get to see her at Rockville when they come here in Daytona.
oh, you're gonna love it. You're gonna
So
be
I'm
blown away.
super stoked.
I just admire her
But
and how much she is exactly who she is, and no one can deter her from that. And I have so much respect for that. I feel like a lot of us come in with
mhm,
this pressure to prove ourselves, and sometimes we have to kind of be someone we're not to impress others, to think like that's what we need to do to establish ourselves. But it's like, no, actually, when you are yourself, when you step into your authenticity, that's when people gravitate towards you. Like when, and if you go on like pretending you're someone you're not, it will fracture your integrity over time. And it's
that
kind of
is
like
true.
it's exhausting to tell a lie, but it's easy to tell the truth. You know what I mean? So yeah, I admire people who are genuinely, authentically, entirely themselves as a person and as a musician. I have so much respect for that.
And I feel like she's always been that way too. I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't really followed her for too long, but when I
Mm-hmm.
used to listen to I Wrestled the Bear once, she was kicking ass
Yeah.
then too. So it's like
Yeah. Yeah, no, she gives it her
it's just
all.
incredible. So I'm
Yeah.
glad to see that female fronted people and all the like just females of rock and metal
There's
are
a lot
like
of instrumentalists too.
literally
I mean,
killing it lately.
there's bassists and drummers and guitarists, and I'm just happy to see the equality finally, honestly. That's all we want. We don't want to overthrow you guys. We just want equality. Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Tetrarch or if you've heard of them,
No,
but
no, I haven't.
there's Diamond in there. She's a guitarist and
Cool.
just insane. Like they've been getting
Yeah.
pretty big lately, and I'm super stoked
You have to send me a link
because
so I can check
they
them out.
deserve it. Yeah,
Hmm.
they're great.
Hmm.
And your song New World, um, you came out with that pretty recently, and I feel like it has so much power behind it.
Cheers. Thank
And
you.
yeah, of course. And you said you wrote it in like 2021 during isolation to spark hope into the hearts of people who are feeling hopeless. So, and I think
Hmm.
that's going back to what you said, like you just want to help people, and I think that's
Hmm.
literally incredible.
Oh,
So,
thank you. Yeah, that was a weird one.
no,
It
thank
was,
you, because
oh,
that
yeah.
helps everyone, I'm sure.
I hope
So
so.
I'm
I
sure
really
all
hope
of
when
us have our own
people,
struggles.
yeah, even I still struggle with things. We all got something going on. But sorry, what were we going to say? I'll let you finish. If you want to hear the story, I can tell you the story of the song.
No, no,
It's totally.
I'll hear the story.
Oh, yeah, no, it
Perfect.
was, as a songwriter, it's like this divine thing where sometimes you're just puttering around the house, minding your own business, especially when you're in the shower. And just this song idea comes to you, this melody and these lyrics, and you're just like, oh no. So for me, it was late at night in January, and I
Of
was
last
just,
year, right?
yeah, last
Sorry.
year it was like when we were in lockdown. We were in lockdown again this year, but it was pretty brutal last year. And it just showed up, and I'm like, oh no, here it is. But the thing was, is like my MIDI controller to my computer to play it on piano and put it into a computer was not easy. So I had to draw out all the harp into the program. So that took a whopping like 2 hours. No, probably not. It was probably like an hour. And then after that, I used my microphone and I hummed the melody over top of it. And I was like, this is cool. This is really Celtic. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. It follows the classic Lindsay formula, but like, it's the first time I've ever actually written like a dark folk song. And you know, at the time I was taking the harp pretty seriously. And then Emily from Mirker contacted me and said, I need you on a song. So then I had to put all my harp into like my harp technique and performance and everything into her music for a bit. So I kind of abandoned it, and then I came back to it and I was like, oh man, this we're talking later in the year, like in the fall, I was like, man, this really touches on everything that's going on right now, and I want to like turn it into a duet. And yeah, I asked my patrons, I'm like, do you guys want to do the song? And they're like, yeah, like that'd be so cool to like mix gothic metal and folk metal. Like, let's try it, you know. And they helped with the lyric writing, and they helped fund the production costs, which I greatly appreciate. I'm so grateful for them every day. And then yeah, it was just kind of worked out. It came around St. Pat. It was ready for St. Patty's Day. You know, and here's the thing. I'm gonna say this about St. Patrick's Day, and I'm like, as someone who's half Irish, we're over it. We just want to have fun and get drunk on that day, okay? Like when people are going on about like, oh, it was genocide of the pagans and murmur and like, yeah, and I'm like, are you Irish? Like, are you really Irish? Like we as Irish people, I don't speak for all Irish people, and God forbid if I did, I wouldn't be allowed. But like as an Irish person, I'm just like, I'm over it. It's not, no, it's not an Irish Pride Day. It's not. And I mean, maybe it is if you're Christian or Protestant or whatever, you know, like I couldn't even care less, but like whatever umbrella St. Patrick was under. I'll Google it later. I'll figure it out later. But,
I don't know either.
I'm not trying to be like politically correct, but yeah, it's sad. And it's like, yes, we lost like the Druid traditions and the magic and the teachings and the language. And okay, it's very, very sad, but it happened a very, very long time ago. And it's like, yeah, okay, if you want to pay your respects, cool. But if you're just trying to be like politically correct on the internet to like sabotage the day for other people who want to have fun, we Irish people don't care. I don't drink, but I know all my Irish friends and family are just like, I just want to get drunk, and I am too drunk to give a shit about your political correctness. You know, so like, it's not even a holiday. Like, it's not like like Thanksgiving is not okay. You know what I mean? Like Thanksgiving over here is not okay. But yeah, for St. Patrick's Day, like when people are all like getting up in arms, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure all Irish people right now are drunk and don't care.
Yeah,
So why are
I
you
feel like
like,
it's funny you say that.
yeah,
I
like why
just
are
know
you
it
trying
as
to be
like
a
corned beef and
political?
cabbage,
Yeah,
like
I just want to eat my
Irish soda
potatoes.
bread.
Like, leave me alone. Yeah. Oh, soda bread. Oh, yes. You know, like so I don't understand people these days going off on the internet. I'm like, man, you just wasted like an hour being all like politically correct and arguing with people when you just could have done something else with your life, because we're over it. We Irish people as a collective, like we're drunk. We don't care. Anyways, that's my, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. That's my rant.
I love it.
Yeah. So anyways, put out a song for St. Patrick's Day. No one came after me. Thank God, they would have got that. Um, but yeah, no, it was just such a beautiful thing. I mean, it was one of those songs where I had gone through a breakup at the time and I was super heartbroken. And heartbreak is like a whole other form of depression. It really hits you hard.
Absolutely.
So I just
That's
kind of,
I feel like the
it,
worst kind.
it is, it was really hard. I'm better now. I'm much happier now. But
I'm so glad.
thank you. Yeah, but going through that, I had the whole team, and usually I'm not like, you know how I described Chris working with Motionless, like this is what I want, this is direction. Usually I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I want. But for this track, I just kind of told everyone, do your thing. Just have fun with it and do what you think works for the song. Like everyone, we're talking Chris Cowett for orchestration, Iveen for the folk instruments, backing vocals, Dagda from Celtiberian for violin, or sorry, viola, and then Fabian Ernie from Elvady. and Jen Majura from Evanescence. I had a banging lineup, and I just told them all, you're all very talented songwriters and musicians and performers. You do just whatever you think works. And that's why this track is so special, because I had trusted them entirely. I didn't pull up hard as like the director or the producer and be like, or head songwriter, whatever you want to call it, and just be like, you must do this. I was like, I know when whatever you put down first is going to be magic. And that's why this track is really special, I think.
That's honestly, I don't know how to say. Like, that's, I feel like that's a unique way of doing it as well.
Yeah,
So, and
just
it
not
worked
giving a
out.
crap. No, of course I care. But sometimes you got to take a backseat, and let others take over when you're not capable of showing up on your A game or the best version of yourself for like a month on end.
But I feel like you contributed to it a lot, I'm sure. So,
Yeah, I tried. I laid down the foundation. Oh, and we got Rocky Gray on there for guitar and drums and bass, and he did a really good job. I loved his first takes too, and he was the first to jump on board. I was like, I need Rocky, I need you first. If we don't do you first, like it's not going to come together. And I think it was new for him because he's like, I've never wrote a rock song to just harp. It was a pure like a full harp piece, you know what I mean? But I can't give away too much, but I see what Mirker's doing, and I'm like, well, if Mirker can do it, then I can do it. You know what I mean? I won't be as brilliant as her, don't get me wrong, but like, she taught me a lot. Like her genius and how she songwrites. Oh my goodness gracious. She's like, it's like she just does not, give a heck, but at the same time, like she does. I don't know how to explain it. She finds this fine balance between like, this is mine, I'm gonna do what I want, but like also gotta be good. I she's just like a magical fairy to me. I don't know how she does it.
and how do you come up with like lyrics from like that foundation? Do you do that beforehand, or like do you come up with like the harp and everything first and then figure out?
It's a mess. It's sometimes the songs come just a line or like just a melody, no lyrics, or the lyrics come like the story's unfolding before me with the melody, or sometimes I'll just get the piano or the harp. Sometimes a full song will just show up, like full band and everything, and it's like, all right, I gotta get this out of my head right now. It's a mess. I mean, when it comes to lyric writing, I'm a big fan of like Depeche Mode and Johnny Cash, and I kind of take from them as being my teachers. So it's sometimes, you get it right the first time, or sometimes you need to refine. You really need to think about storytelling. But I'd say 25% of it is that divine moment of something coming to you. And the other 75 is like work and problem solving and finishing it.
It's totally fair. I know that
Yeah.
some people do like, you know, keyboard or piano first and then try
Hmm.
and build from there. So I think it's interesting to see how everyone is kind of different and has their own style of doing it.
Yeah. And you should try different ways. Like, I mean, I wrote my song on Martyr, Blood from a Stone. I wrote it to transition into an instrumental track, and I knew the key of the other track, so I just took the key and I just started playing chords. And I was going through somewhat of a weird heartbreak at the time, and I wrote Blood from a Stone in like 5 minutes, just playing these
Wow.
chords. And then after that, I worked on developing the piano piece for it. There's multiple ways to tackle songwriting. You just have to really
I feel
ask
like
yourself.
getting creative.
Yeah, it's a
So,
lot of problem solving, but it's just going with the flow. It's like, okay, like what needs to be done? Is this where I want it to be? What more work do I have to do? How do I approach it? Like, it's not like a painting where if you screw it up, you have to just throw it out and like do it all over again, or burn it and sacrifice it to the gods and never speak of it again. It's like you can go ahead and you can go in and you can delete it and start over. You know what I mean? It's not like, or you can keep what you like and then fill in the blanks. I feel like people like, it's just when it comes to making mistakes with music, there's so many, you can make so many more mistakes and no one knows.
true. Like,
Mhm.
there's probably a lot of songs I've listened to, and I bet there's a lot of mistakes in a bunch of them, and I just, because I'm not into music theory or anything like that, I probably would, the normal ear would probably never realize it. So,
Well, and that's the thing. It's music theory. It's not music fact. And I always
Mhm.
remember that. It's just like do it and have fun. Don't worry too much about like, does it sound good? Do you like it? Does it hit you in the feels? Yeah, then screw what anyone else thinks.
That is true.
Yeah.
Um, and you also had a song Twin Flame that you released back in late January, and
Mhm.
it was a bit different style than your
Yeah.
usual. And I know that you had some people, I'm assuming from your Patreon as well, help on with that.
Yeah, they were along the ride for that one, because the some of the weird music I'm doing right now on Patreon is closer to like trip hop, and I wouldn't say electronica, but it has electronic elements in it, and it's got
Mhm.
strings, and that's like where Twin Flame kind of falls. And that melody was just like haunting me all last summer. So I was just like, oh, fine, I'm gonna demo it. And then it just unraveled into this weird song that never had a chorus, but it flowed. And I was really stoked. I mean, I always work with Dagda on viola, and then I got Delay on cello. She's in my other band, Antiqua. And we got Gaia Guarda to do the electronics. And it just came together so naturally. I was just kind of like, wow, this is insane. But it was nice to be able to write about something that was just like kind of heavy on my mind and heavy on my heart. I believe I did, go into the more, I wouldn't say philosophical, psychological. I don't know which word I'm looking for here, but like the meaning behind it all, I guess, is like I believe a soulmate is someone who helps you find your soul, and that's just kind of
Mhm.
what I wrote about in that song is like a twin flame. And it's not always easy. Like the real people who carry you through life and help you grow and change, it's painful. It's sometimes you have arguments and you call each other out on your shit and you can't always be together and sometimes it's intense. And I think it was important to write that about that. And then when I posted it on YouTube, we did a music video, again, all thanks to Patreon. All, yeah, fabulous patrons. I posted it and a lot of people, just complete strangers, where they clicked on it. I guess it comes up in the twin flame category on YouTube. Oh god, that's terrifying. And a lot of just complete strangers were commenting like, thank you so much for writing a song about this. I'm going through this. You understand it exactly. And I'm like, okay, like cool. Like, got that whole community in on it. So yeah, I think it was really important, but it was a journey. It was something like doing a music video for it, to fly out to the middle of the cold country of Canada. Worked with Chris from Phantasma Photography. He's just so bloody talented. Yeah, it was an adventure. It was a real adventure.
Yeah, I did watch the music video, and
Oh, thank you.
I must say the visuals on that were pretty crazy. The
Yeah,
fire
thanks.
and the little embers and everything going around.
Yeah, he really had a vision, and it was like right on spot and on point with everything I was thinking. It was like him and I were like on the same level wavelength of thinking and creating. That was super cool. We're gonna do more
On
together in
two
the
whole
future.
different sides too. The
Yeah, he just
musical too
knew. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
came
He
out
just,
pretty sick. No, you're
oh,
fine.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, just like he knew. It was crazy. I like working with people like that. They just get it.
And it's funny because I'd searched up Twin Flame earlier, just Twin Flame, and I realized MGK just came out with the song called Twin Flame literally
Oh,
13 hours ago.
that
There's a
butthead.
lyric video.
It's probably about Megan Fox, bless him. Yeah.
I just found that funny. So
Oh my
hopefully that
God.
draws some more
My
views
best
and stuff.
my best friend is probably freaking out right now. Where no, nothing yet. She actually bought me a ticket to go see MGK this summer with Avril Lavigne. I was like, I'll go, but like, how
Wow,
much is it? She's like, don't worry about it. I'm buying it. We're going to MGK and Avril Lavigne, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb. But okay, let's go.
that's a pretty weird lineup.
Whatever. I'm excited. I think everyone's just stoked that there's like concerts again.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I am
So,
super excited. My next one is Knocked Loose, so
oh, enjoy it.
I'm waiting on that.
That's
I'm probably
awesome.
gonna get my ass kicked in the pit, but that is okay.
Worth it.
For Movements too, they're
Hmm.
such an incredible band. So,
Hmm. That's awesome,
and
dude.
yeah, I'm really excited. You're also a founding member of the band Antiqua, like you mentioned before.
Mhm.
It's a chamber black metal band, right?
Yes, that's what we is.
Perfect. And you guys released two songs lately in like the last year and a half, right?
Mhm.
Will we be seeing more
Oh yeah,
anytime soon? Can
I
you
don't
say
know.
that? I don't know.
Things are kind of like slow pace right now. We're planning our next writing trip for either next month or May. I don't remember. It's just such a big project and a big undertaking. Like we haven't given up on it, obviously, but
No,
um
I'm sure you're all busy, every one of
yeah,
you guys in there.
yeah.
So
And I mean, we're doing our best to keep on top of things, but when you're self-producing it, it's like, yeah, it's there's 7 people involved and everyone has their responsibilities and tasks. It's a lot, and it's the music is intense and there's a lot involved, and doing it all ourselves, we're kind of like, I wouldn't say overwhelmed, but we're a bit like, oh man, like we have to take breaks. The music is so intense, we need to like take breathing space in between. It's been a long process, and we might throw out another song this year. I don't think that's actually a bad idea. Um, but yeah, it's in motion. I wish there was more I could say about it. But I give it a few more months, and we'll probably be back on socials and sharing things. It's just it's weird. Zan and I, the lead singer, we kind of go through a lot of the same things in life at the same time. So I feel
mhm.
like we've been in this eternal struggle for months to just wrap up all our outstanding projects and commitments so then we can just focus entirely on Antiqua. So the day that happens, y'all will know because we'll be back on the socials super hard and like, moving things into motion. But yeah, it's been a bit of a slow drag. We're like, okay, we'll wrap up all the projects. And it's like 6 months later, it's like, so what about wrapping up all our projects? It's like, oh God, facepalm.
No, but like you said, you guys all have like your own things you're dealing with. So
Yeah,
that's expected.
yeah.
And I remember in another podcast, like I was listening to a bunch of shit
Oh my gosh, you've done your
just to
research. I
prepare.
appreciate it. Thanks. I'm so sorry I have to deal
Not
with my
not
Canadian
too
voice
much.
for that
No,
long.
you're
Oh
fine.
God.
Like I knew you from Cradle of Filth and all that, but I
Mhm,
didn't really know so much about you beyond that. But I did
mhm.
remember you saying that you were on like 52 songs or something like that last year.
Oh my God. Yeah, I
So
was.
that
Yeah. Oh, Lord
I could
have
totally
mercy.
understand how overwhelming that is.
Yeah. So it was like between Antiqua, the album, Coldbound, jumping on Sarah stuff, working with Sarah Jezebel Deva. I'm currently producing an album for like a somewhat trip hop artist, which has been very like, I love it. I'm in the zone. I'm in my joy. I'm developing and helping
Mhm.
another artist, but a very long process. But every step of the way has just been magic, and I've been happy to step into that producer role for the songwriting process and then moving into the production process. Um, but yeah, there was that. I worked with Mirror, I worked with Cancer Bats, I worked with Motionless. Is there anything else that came to light? Oh yeah,
Well,
there
I'm
was just
sure all your
like
solo stuff too, on
yeah,
top of
oh
it.
yeah, on top of the solo stuff and the stuff I was doing on Patreon. And well, it was so empowering to just get the equipment and start engineering and editing and tracking my vocals from home myself. It made the process so much quicker. I can also do like program piano from home now too, like do a performance and get people to rip it through a better sound library than I have, because dear God, um we on a budget over here. um but yeah, it was very empowering, and I think the minute people realized or like saw that I could do things from home, they just hit me up. But yeah, last year I did say I wanted to do more music, but the thing was is like it was really hard finding the balance between finding time for my music and always being on other people's music. So that's why I've kind of like stopped doing so much of that, and like now I'm more trying to focus on myself, like my music and Antiqua's music. So because it's going to need it. It's going to be a
Which,
big year. It's a long year.
yeah, I don't know how you keep track of like everything. It sounds insane. So
I have
I
a
give you
live
props for doing
calendar.
that.
Cheers, a live calendar and many to-do lists.
And is producing something that like you just do on a rare occasion, like for other people, or is that something that you want to continue doing?
I I did a lot of it last year, and it took a conversation with a few people to make me realize I actually am a music producer. I cannot engineer and mix and master to save my life. I can help with treatment, like, putting certain effects on things and where to put them in the mix and stuff. Like, but when it comes to like the really super techie stuff, like EQing, I'm like, forget it. Like, my brain's like, what? But I've talked to a few people and they're like, yeah, well, like, you oversee the songwriting process, you do the project managing, you bring in musicians, you make sure they get paid, they make sure they have sheet music, and like, and it's like that's originally like what a music producer would do. And then they'd have the engineer with them to do all the techie stuff. And once I realized that, I was like, what the heck? I lost, like, I've been a producer this whole time and I didn't even know it. Because a lot of us in metal do have to self-produce because like no one else is going to take us seriously, or we don't have the budget to like pay for this extra person to be there to polish us. So when I realized that, and then that artist contacted me last year and said, hey, would you like produce my album for me? Like, we'll kind of co-produce it together and we'll figure out stuff later. Like, I was more like, yes, I love your music. I want to work with you. I love your songwriting. I think you're brilliant. And I would love to take your next album to the next level as far as structure and melodies and strings go. You know what I mean? I feel like they really want to keep the lyrics to themselves, and that's fine. It's not like if it's what you want to say, it's what you want to say. Like, I can't be like, no, you must change the words, because then it's not their meaning and their story anymore. So I kind of just take a step back, but I give suggestions here and there. So last year I really discovered how much I love music production, and I love writing my own songs from home and demoing them, and then just kind of playing around with the effects and what you can build and where the space is and where you can put in beats. And oh man, last year was fun. It was exhausting, but it was fun. And I did get to produce it. I don't know when the project's coming out. I did produce my own instrumental with my team, and that was a really magical moment. So we'll see when that comes out. You'll know about it.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing all of that. And I do give you like
Thanks.
insane props for doing any of that because I can imagine how time consuming it is. I did
It's
a podcast with
yeah,
Ricky from Ice Nine Kills once, and
nice.
I know he produces a shit ton of bands, and I
Yeah.
don't know how he keeps track of anything
You
or
just
has
stay
time to do anything.
organized. Yeah, you really get in
While we
the
were doing it,
zone.
he was tracking vocals for some band, so I was just like, wow, he never stops.
Yeah, the
So
hustle muscle
just
is
huge shout
strong.
out to you guys for all of that because that's
Yeah.
insane.
Well, when you love what you do, it never feels like a drag, you know?
Yeah,
So
but I'm
I get
sure it
it.
does take up a lot of time and is exhausting at times.
Yeah,
So
if you're not working with the right people. If you have to babysit musicians, that's a whole other story. You want to make
well,
sure you're
I'm
always
glad
working
that's
the
not
right
in your
people.
case.
No, I have a great team. I have a very great team around me. I'm very blessed.
Well, that's perfect. And I appreciate you joining us and coming out and talking to me.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, and thanks for like doing all your research. It's greatly appreciated.
Of course, I want to make sure I have as much information as possible, but is there anything
Yeah.
else you wanted to touch up on before we go?
I would say if anyone's listening, come hang out on my socials. Um, Follow me on Spotify. Check out what I've got on Spotify. If you really like me, you can go to Bandcamp and buy a song for like $1. That'd be really cool. But everything's at lindsayschoolcraft.com. That's Lindsay with an A. And yeah, I just want to say thanks so much for like having me here and having this chat. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed nerding out with you. Questions were awesome. Appreciate your time, and like, yeah,
Thank you.
maybe we'll touch base again like this time next year and do a little update.
Absolutely. I'm here for it. And I have to send you the rest of the anime and some of
Please,
those other bands.
please do. I would
I
appreciate
will
it.
do